turn our attention to our football. And Tony Mepham joins me in the studio. The ECAP FA Cup quarter-finals. And the big game was settled by a goal midway through the second half. Peel 0, St Mary's 1.
Yeah, I haven't got much information on this, Tim, but by all accounts, close battle. Maybe Peel should have done better with the wind. I'm hearing from one or two people, but it was Matthew Kent-Lloyd who got the goal for St Mary's, and 0-0 at half-time. He got the goal in the second half, so it's St Mary's that go into the semi-final draw.
They do indeed, and the game you went to was one-way traffic. St George's 10, Ramsey 0.
Well, it was, and it was like rolling back the years when you look at the players there, because Callum Morrissey was, I thought, excellent in the first half. He went off as a substitute second half, but certainly his first two goals, one on 22 minutes and one on 23. There's only Callum Morrissey score goals like that. So clever, and still there for him, and still got the legs as two. But Johnny Myers it was who got the third one. Then Furrow Davies on 43 minutes made it 4, and then just before half time, a minute later, Chris Bass got one. Then Johnny Myers got his second of the game. Then second half substitute Connor Hislop got his first on 75. Then Sean Quay got a header. Furrow Davies got his second, and then Connor Hislop got his second of the game as well. So it finished up St George's 10, Ramsey 0. Ramsey really didn't have any notable chances. I know it was a struggle for them in the first half. They actually had the wind, but St George's just too clever for them. And then in the second half, couldn't really pose any threats, because St George's is a class team, and that was evident again today. And good result for them.
Indeed it was. Russian 4, Douglas Royal 0.
Yeah, Kyle Lunn it was who got the first one. Steve Ryden with the second. 2-0 it was at half-time. Aaron Hawley, I think, got the third one. And Mikey Williams completed the scoring with the fourth. So good result that for Russian.
It is, and it was Colby 1, Corinthians 3.
Yeah, Corinthians took the lead through Steve Whitley, and then a penalty was awarded to Colby. Carl Hickey stepped up to take that penalty and make it 1-1. Danny Gerrard got the second of Corinthians' goals, and Sean Doyle got the third. Don't know how the game went, but good battling performance by the sound of it from Colby. But Corinthians go through.
So 4 of the top 5 in the hat.
Yeah, it's just a shame, when you look at sort of Peel. I'll look at their team sheet later on, but I know they're missing quite a few players. But, fair play to St Mary's. It's away from home. The crowd will be noisy. They pretty well will be, because last week it was full on, and certainly today it was the same. But, they've unfortunately gone out, and St Mary's still looking good for League Cup, and we've got the Hospital Cup to go, so there's a lot of football for them in front of them.
It certainly is. We still don't have, unfortunately, confirmation of the GH Call at Woods Cup first round. The last I saw it was Jim's 2, Braddon 4, but we don't know whether that's a full-time. Canada Live Premier League, not much to talk on this one about, apart from what a good result could be for Moran. It moves them up a place in the table, 0-0 with Old Boys.
Yeah, we were talking about it downstairs, Tim, and that could be a big point for Moran, because that could be the difference between them surviving in the Premier League. I don't think it's going to be a problem, because Paul Rose still got quite a few games to play. But I think against Old Boys, potentially the squad that they had out today, that's a cracking result, so well done to them.
Absolutely. JCK Limited Division 2, Douglas Athletic 4, Ayr 6. Not quite enough to take them back to the top.
No, it wasn't. And Douglas District, I watched half an hour of this, Tim. And
well, it was only 1-0 at half-time to Ayr, so
exactly.
They waited for you.
It wasn't too bad at all. And let's have a look at D&D first. Daniel Stewart-Clegg, I saw him score his header. I think it was the fourth of the game. Good header, but Mark Quirk, my word, what a strike from him. Right-hand side, and lashed it in. Johnny Shields, I saw score a belter. I don't know who got the other goals because Ayr haven't been in touch, but he smashed it, hit the underside of the bar, and went over the line. But, Ayr United be disappointed with their defending. You could see the frustration. There's a lot of comments coming from midfield, just to keep it nice and tight at the back. But you get games like that. But I'll tell you what, it's a tight old pitch, Tim, and big ledge at the top. They did the best out of it, but Douglas and District will be happy enough scoring 4 goals against one of the top sides.
Foxdale 2, Union Mills 4. Big win, that.
Yeah, it's a big battle, this one, because I think Union Mills took the lead, then it was 1-1, then it was 2-1 Foxdale, I heard, and then it was 2-2. But Jay Chatwood with the 2 goals for Foxdale. For Union Mills, Richie Cannell is probably a thunderbolt left footer. Carl Uren got 2, and Luke Booth got the other one. So, as you say, an important result for Union Mills.
It is indeed. It was Governors Athletic 2, Michael 6.
3-1 at half time. Kieran McNulty with 3 and played really well. Governors couldn't get close to him. Rob Bell got one of the goals for Governors, and Tom Davies got the other one.
And it was Maloo 1, St John's 5.
Yeah, this was tight at half time. It was 1-1. Darren Tartar got the goal for Maloo, but I haven't got St John's goal scorer. So if you could please text us through 166177.
The top of the table, and Colby 17 played for 37, Ayr 15 played for 37, St John's 14 played for 35, and Union Mills 15 played for 34. So very, very tight indeed up at the top there of the table. Let's move then to the combination. And unfortunately, the ref taken ill ahead of the big game between Corinthians and St Mary's.
Yeah, I got the phone call, I think it was about 2 o'clock, 2:15. The referee turned up at 2 and explained to the teams that he didn't feel particularly well. And after speaking to them, the game was postponed. Disappointment for the players, but you can't do anything about it. Health becomes more important at that stage, and we wish the referee well, whatever the problem was.
Absolutely, we do. Douglas Athletic 8, Old Boys 0.
Yeah, 3-0 at half time, Tim. 8-0 at the end, but we haven't got any scores. 166177, please.
Combination 2, Michael 0, Ayr 4.
That's all the information we've got on that one.
Ramsey Youth Centre 2, Colby 2. That's Ramsey Youth Centre's first drop points.
It is, and puts the league on hold as well. I'm not too sure who got Colby's goals, but for Ramsey Youth Centre, Harry Grant got one, and Dan Sherry got the other goal for Ramsey Youth Centre. Good to see him playing back. It was horrendous when I saw him break his leg at the ball.
And the game St John's Maloo was another postponement.
Yeah, St John's couldn't field a team, so the game was awarded to Maloo.
Okay, well let's move to the ECAP FA Cup semi-final draw. These games to be played 28th of March. In the hat, Corinthians Russian, St George's and St Mary's. We've also got the under-18 FA Cup first round draw to be made as well, but we'll do the main draw first. Sam Spooner is going to be doing that for us, so we'll give him some voice.
Good shuffle, please, Sam.
Good shuffle, and first one out is
number 4,
and that is St Mary's
against number 1.
Against Corinthians. St Mary's will play Corinthians.
Number 3.
Number 3 is St George's.
Against number 2.
And they will play Russian. So St Mary's play Corinthians. It's St George's against Russian. And now we'll move to the under-18 FA Cup. 6 teams in the hat for this one.
So 2 games.
2 games to be drawn, yeah.
First one is number 3.
Number 3 is Laxey.
Against number 6.
Against St George's.
Number 4.
Number 4 is Onken.
Against number 2.
Against number 2, Douglas Royal.
And that leaves 1 and 5.
And that tallies with my sheet, which is always good. So, buys for Corinthians and for Peel. So it's Laxey versus St George's and Onken versus Douglas Royal in the under-18 FA Cup first round. Let's just bring Tony in for the final time, and St Mary's versus Corinthians, St George's versus Russian. I think the Saints have been rewarded for their wins today with home semis.
Well, they have. St Mary's first half will be delighted to have the home tie. They have had the sort of better of Corinthians, haven't they, over the last sort of 3 or 4 fixtures. So, they'll be looking to, get into the final on Easter Saturday. As well with Corinthians, 2 or 3 players short at the moment. So they'll be working on that to get them fit, to get them back in the squad. As well with St George's and Russian. St George's, It's 10-0 today, Tim, but they made it look so easy. They really did, and right the way through the whole team, the strength there, and even the young lads who came on in the second half, look good. So, it just depends on the day how they're going to go against Russian. But, Russian today, that was a tough fixture against Royal, and to win it 4-0, credit to them. So 2 great semi-finals, and I think they're down to be played on the 28th of March. So
they are indeed.
Not too long to go.
Not too long. Thank you very much indeed, Tony Mepham.